Hi everyone, it's me Cheryl. I hope you're all alright. I've got a finished object. Yay! Right, you may recall my last video I showed an image of the blanket. I'm not going to open it out at the moment because it's I'll just open it out this far. Do you remember this? It's to go with that. And I finished the little baby jumper. I just need to wash it. So here it is in all its glory. Drop shoulder. I'm so proud of that. I did what size did I do? Oh, it's child 1 it says. So child size 1. And I need to wash it, which means it's going to shrink a little bit. How do I know it's going to shrink a little bit? Well, that was because of this little beauty. I did a swatch. Now, I did this with Cheryl Burnett Sweater 101, and I've got the free download of the drop shoulder placket one. Even though I've already got Sweater 101, this bit actually shows you how to do the placket, and she goes through with a series of videos. Now, normally when you are knitting and you need to do a gauge swatch, you knit your swatch, you wash it, then you measure it, and depending on your size you either go up, depending on your gauge, sorry, you either go up or down a needle size. In this case it's slightly different because it's on your own gauge, but you need to know the behaviour of the yarn before and after washing the swatch. And what I found was, I did a dry weight. This was before, when it came straight off the needles. I just let it relax a bit, and then I did a dry gauge, not a dry weight. And then I washed it. I just hand washed it in the sink, and then I pinned it up so it was straight. And when it was all done, I measured it again. And what I found was that I had, after washing it, pre-washed. Yeah, pre-washed compared with what washed. It shrank after it was washed, and the difference was 1 extra stitch every 4 inches. So that was useful information. So I knew every 4 inches I need to add an extra stitch to my calculations, because it's all well and good just going on. Yeah, so that was my calculations. I did it allowing for that extra stitch. Anyway, so 1 extra stitch every 4 inches it shrank by after washing. So what I did, I added that extra stitch every 4 inches, so when it shrinks it's going to be the same size it should be. So that's fine, and it was really good to be able to do that. So that's the difference between a regular gauge swatch and a Sweater 101 gauge swatch. You need to just factor in what's going to happen before and after washing, and that's it really. And I didn't need to change my needle size because it was just the needle size I was going to use. So that was my lovely little baby jumper. So I'm going to wash that, and then I'm going to put it with a blanket, and I'm going to give it to my friend. And I need to measure also. There's like, it's not, I've broken into these, both of them, because when you're knitting the left side of the front and the right side of the front, so there's some left, and I'm like, what am I going to do with that? I'll think of something, I don't know what, but at the moment I'm done with this yarn now. I need to move on to something else. And in moving on to something else, I've done some more of these squares. I don't know if I did as much as I did last video when I showed you, but then again I might have, I can't remember, because I did organise the box again. And somebody did ask me about the blanket and stuff like that. Did they ask me? Oh yeah. I counted the squares, I counted the little yarn balls of what I've got in each colour, and although I've got 73, I looked at 2 blanket sizes. One was 9 by 8 squares. 9 by 8 squares? Yeah, I think. And one was, which Was it 9 by 8? I'm pretty sure it was 9 by 8 squares, because the other one was 8 by 8, that's 64, isn't it? Yeah, 9 by 8. Yeah, 9 by 8, because the other one's 72, so it'll just fit. Right, I was doing finger maths. 9 by 8 or 8 by 8, it doesn't really matter which, except the distribution of colours. Because I've done a spreadsheet, I've got a spreadsheet and I've made it into squares, and I've got the colours and I'm playing around and I'm like, I'm trying to find a pattern and I'm having difficulty. Maybe I'm just better off doing random. What? I have difficulty doing random. Of course, because there's like more of these. This is the largest amount of squares there is. In total there's 21. But if I do an 8 by 8, I need to knock it down to 20. And then the next largest number is one of these, and there's 11 of these, and there's 11 of another one. I can't remember which one it was now. And the smallest amount I've got is it 2? So it's like distributing them, because I've got to distribute these more so they don't knock into each other anyway, if that's going to be random. But then again, I'm trying to find a pattern. I'm jigging them around on the worksheet, on the spreadsheet. So meanwhile, I'll just knit squares while I'm thinking about that and playing around. It's like doing a puzzle. Well, I went online to do a random square generator or something, but it's granny squares, and when it's done, it's like as if each round is in a different colour. No, I want one solid colour and then organise it in the blanket, because you can get a stripes generator, and I'm like, no, this is not stripes. I don't know what to do. It's just a case of playing. It's like a puzzle. But also something I've restarted, and I said I was going to do it, is this horrible fluffy yarn, which I tried initially on the S-Loom, the knitting board S-Loom, and I couldn't see what I was doing. I put it onto needles, but I just cast on a number of needles and it ended up bigger than I thought it was going to be, so I pulled it all out. And then some yarn was sacrificed in doing that, because the last bit I couldn't unravel it, so I snipped it. So I then thought I'd do corner to corner, just like this. So I've started on it, but what I've also done, because this is 4mm needles it's supposed to be, I thought that was too dense. So I've only just started on it here. This is a 5mm needle, still feels dense. And that's the start of it, so it's just going to be this fluffy thing. But at least I'm going to be able to measure the sides, and it's going to be the same all the way around. It'll be square, but that's fine, I don't care. But it's this horrible fluffy yarn. Now you think, what? I think that's 2 balls. And they're supposedly 150 grams each, but this doesn't total 150 grams, it totals, I wrote it down, 222. I can't be missing that much. You know, from when I sacrificed it, it wasn't really that much, it was towards the end. But I've got another 2 proper sized balls, which are supposed to be 150 grams. One of them's 158 grams and the other one's 165 grams. A huge disparity in the weights there. I mean, I know they say plus or minus 5%. But anyway, I've added them all together and I've got a total of 545 grams. So my plan is to, I don't know how this is going to work, knit until 272.5 grams is on the blanket, but yet to be knit, and then start decreasing. But I'm thinking, really, it just depends what size it comes out as first, maybe like a 30 by 30, and then just see where it goes from there. Because if that yarn weight is, it's not going to work. It's so fluffy and dense. But I'm glad I did it on a 5mm. But it's quite hard doing the knit front and back on there, and I have no idea what knit two together is going to look like. It's weird. I don't like it. Anyway, if you just bear with me, I'll go and grab that sock I've nearly finished. I'm on to the cuff part of it. I can't remember how many rounds I've got left to go. It's in my notebook. Yeah, that's it. Let me open it out a bit. The man-size sock. So very shortly I'll be starting on its partner. That's looking really good, isn't it? And that's that yarn that reminds me of that Peyton's print, Peyton's paint spray. Oh, it's gone. I talked about it in my last video quite a lot. And it just reminds me of that, except now I've knitted it up, it doesn't really look like that as much. It's definitely got the same colours in there though. But yeah, I'm really proud of this, how it's coming out. And I should be working on its partner very soon, because I'm at Knitting Natter on Thursday. Do you know we've had a horrible change in the weather? It's like raining outside and it looks cold and wintry, and it probably isn't that cold, but it looks it. But the last few weeks have been absolutely wonderful weather-wise, because on a couple of Saturdays ago we went to Wimbleball Lake and we hired the wheelie boat, which is a wheelchair accessible boat. Now my husband and I last September learnt to pilot the wheelie boat, so we booked the wheelie boat out. The carer came with us. With CJ, and we all had a picnic on the water. Well, we were going to shore up somewhere, but from where we were, we couldn't really tell whether the grass was just patchy, so we weren't sure. And then we also forgot the picnic blanket, so we decided just to anchor down in the middle of the water and just have a picnic there. And it was wonderful, and it was a gorgeous, gorgeous day. Loved it. Oh, it was really wonderful, and CJ enjoyed it because we had the music and we were playing the music. Yeah, and I don't know if you can hear them. They're downstairs right below this room now, him and the carer, and they're doing some art stuff. So that's fun, like stamping and stuff, because CJ really likes art, so that's good. Anyway, my plan is I'm actually going to start on some other socks, but for home. I'm going to do 2 at a time taupe socks, because I've not done 2 at a time for a long time. And there's that book called 2 at a time taupe socks, and I can't remember who it's by. That's the last time I did it, the first and the only time I did it, but now I've got it done with a single sock. I'm pretty sure I can do a double sock, and it helps that I've got 2 50-gram balls of yarn. So I'm going to do that, but I'm also going to plod on with this. This is another thing I just can't wait to get rid of. Anyway, that's it. That's all my news to date, and I hope everyone's okay and they're getting on well with the projects and stuff. It'd be nice to know what you're getting on with. It's nice to see some people's posts on Instagram as well, whenever I see them. So, if anybody knows of somewhere I can get some kind of random square generator that's not round by round like granny squares, it needs to be solid squares, can you let me know please, because I'm a bit lost with that. Otherwise I'm just going to have to treat it like a puzzle and play. Alright everyone, take care, bye bye.